Hi everyone, this is my face mask worms video number 2, and as you can see there in the picture, I'm using the same setup I had on my first video where I've got a standard blue mask and I've got it draped over a bowl which I fill with steaming hot water. And what that does is it simulates the heat of the human breath, and when you do that there are these strange little worms inside the masks that come alive. And the first video I just filmed it with my crappy secondhand $25 phone. In this video I brought myself a microscope. It's a USB digital microscope with about 1600 times magnification, and you can get these on eBay for $30–40. They're everywhere, which is great because you can basically, it's cheap enough for you to buy one of these microscopes and try this at home. And I bought 3 different packs of these blue masks from 3 different suppliers just to make sure I had a really good sample, and I found these worms in all 3 batches of these masks. Just to give you an idea of the magnification of this microscope, that's the end of my ballpoint pen, and if I zoom in you can see just how small those little worms are in comparison, and you can also see the individual fibers of the mask itself. Okay, so the mask is now sitting over a bowl of hot water, and you can see the water droplets there that are forming in the mask, which is good. So if there's any worms in here, that would hopefully wake them up. I found one, and I'm just recording it now while it's wiggling because I'm just going to try and zoom in on that. Found another one. Seems to be quite active, and you can see from this one, see how it's actually moved out of the mask as if it's kind of seeking something, because if I focus back in on the fibers, you'll see that's its tail in the fibers, and then of course it can't be on the other side, otherwise you wouldn't see it. So if I zoom out you can see it's quite active. Now I'm going to try and zoom in on this. Alright, so I'll start from the fibers. There's its tail dug into the fibers, and you can see it's coming out to its head, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't even know what these things are, so I don't know if they've got a tail or a head, but that looks particularly unfriendly, that one. I'll try and zoom in a bit more. Alright, so we'll go back to the base, or the tail, whatever you want to call it, and you can see the fibers of the actual mask there. You see those water droplets? That's from the steam. And we'll zoom out to the end of it. Nasty. So then I zoomed out on this worm, and then I thought I'd mess with it because I wanted to see if this thing was alive or not, or whether it's like a nanobot affected by magnetism. So I tried magnets, that didn't really do much. Then I thought I'd ring my phone, my cell phone, and then I'd move it towards it and away to see if it had any reaction to it. So you'll hear me going close away, and check out what happens.
6.
Close,
Change your greeting.
away,
Press 3.
close,
To access
away,
your options, press 8.
close, away, close, away. And if that wasn't freaky enough, I tried the same thing, but this time with my phone just on standby, and it still seems to create a reaction. Close, away, close, away, close, away, close, away. And here's another one. It seems like there's a couple here, and these are big ones. These are 3 or 4 times the size of the other ones that I've found, and they're having a little dance. Have you also noticed how they tend to respond to each other? They stay still, like when I zoomed in they were still, then one moves, they all move. See how they're kind of syncing up? That is bizarre. These 2 over there look like they're going to kiss each other. Now see how they've all stopped? Now one will move and the others will all... See, yeah, okay, they've all stopped, and they'll move, and then they'll all move together. Watch. There you go, look at that. I'm not touching anything, I'm not breathing on them, I'm not doing anything. Okay, so what I've done now is I've grabbed a brand new mask and a brand new bowl of hot water, and you can see the water droplets there forming. And I then got the mask and I rubbed it into the floor, my desk, my bedspread, my woolen blanket, t-shirt, my towel. Basically, everything I could think of to put as many natural fibers on here as possible to show you that natural fibers aren't the cause, because there's been various people online saying, oh no, those worms in the masks, they're just, natural fibers, and that's what happens when you heat them up. They wiggle about. Well, you can clearly see the water droplets, the steam, the mask, and nothing on here is moving. And I'll pan across just to give you an idea. It might fog up a little bit because of the steam coming off the water, and I will have to refocus. But yeah, on here is cotton, rayon, wool, hair, dust, whatever, my bedspread's made of. It's probably some kind of polyfiber or nylon. Anything that's been sitting on my floor for the last, few weeks since I vacuumed. You can see the water droplet there. Nice example of a fiber, and you can see nothing is moving. Nothing is moving. Okay, so this is the same mask that I dirtied, but I only dirtied one side and I clearly marked it. So this is the other side of that mask, and look what I found. So you can see the difference, that it's clearly moving. I mean, you can see that fairly obviously, but it's the way it's moving. Even though I've shown you that all the other natural fibers on the same mask on one side aren't moving, well, this is the side that I didn't cover in particles, and have a look. It's having a wonderful time. All right, a new mask and a new bowl of steaming water, and I found yet another wormy looking thing having a twitch. And there's another natural fiber that looks to me like a hair, and you can see that's not moving, not twitching at all, but you can see the water still forming around it, the little droplets, so just to prove that there's actually steam coming off that bowl of water, but yet it's not moving. And this is a little experiment I did where I blew my warm breath on the left hand side of the microscope, and the worm moved over to the left hand side, and then I blew my warm breath onto the right hand side of the microscope, and the worm actually moved over to the right hand side. Have a listen. So there you have it, and there's only so much I can do with a $35 microscope from eBay, but I'll finish off with a fellow Australian who's used a very powerful microscope to zoom in on these face mask worms, and I'll leave a link to that YouTube video either in the description below or in the comments.
I don't know, almost like vertebrae. It's a bit alien. I'll just change the light setting. See that? It's almost like vertebra.
Sentinels.
Here they come.